Good afternoon. I don't intend to take a lot of time because I realize you've been here for quite some time. I'm not really a visitor to many, a stranger to many of you. As he says, some of you have taught, undergraduate, others masters. But I'm glad that I am part of St. Paul's community. Although I'm a lecturer at Egerton University, I want to say that I think, truthfully, my past professional growth, what academic, professional growth to realize what I'm able to do or what I can do as a counselor, my experience has been in St. Paul. Okay, my interaction with the students, I think it was more like a chance because what happened, we had two students who were doing masters and they needed somebody to take them through personal counseling, the 15 sessions. And being masters, they needed a PhD. And the one who had been referred to was not like available or was not confident and said, why don't you do it? So I was called and I was given 2 students. And I want to say this, I never thought I would enjoy counseling. I've always kept to myself I should be a lecturer. You know, hiyo distance hapo, tusiwe karibu sana kujuana mambo. So I thought, but when I went through that counseling with those 2 students, I wondered who was counseling the other. Now that's very bad when a counselor get cancelled. You know, it's the counter. You're the one who's been, yes. But I listened to them because it was more like, you know, and I was hearing them, but I'm telling myself, they will tell me about what their task, what is ahead of them, but I'm telling myself, I'm capable, you know, they look inside, they tell themselves what they can, I'm wondering. And I want to say, I went to Madam Man, and I thank God many people are talking about you. I just went to Madam Man and I just told her, I am so impressed by your students, I would wish just to be in class. Not even to teach, but to listen to them as they learn. Because I learned there was a lot that they were going through. And so I just left. And then one time she just told me, why don't you apply and be a lecturer? I thought it was wow. I never thought of teaching here. But I want to tell you, I think it's only that I miss those online, one-to-one physical. I think it was, they know, my students know. We used to have not enough time. The 3 hours was too brief as we talked ourselves into the session, and I think I loved the learning that goes on, I think, in St. Paul's. Maybe that is something you should hear. That is something that I think, like anybody else, and as you say, most of the students have referred, when they have called me, I know I should be talking about Egerton University, but I keep saying, what is your goal? And they tell me, I want to be a counselor, I want to practice counseling. And I tell them, I think I would just tell you frankly, go to St. Paul's. Instead of telling them to come to my place. Yes, I have, I think, about 2 students, even in masters. One of them even a student in Mauche Samoe, where my husband was teaching. And like, she was so impressed by me one time, I'd gone to talk to the student. And it's like, where did your wife go for? I would want to be able to counsel students like the way she did. And now she thought I would tell her to come to Egerton. I know I got head knowledge from Egerton. But the practice, the know-how, that confidence of being a counselor, I got it from St. Paul's. And so I'm grateful, and mostly from the interactions with the learners. I love you people, and those that even we are in the master's class, Dorcas, they know. I like when I ask them to talk to me, tell me what is they are going through, and that is very, so I don't want to say much, but I want to say this. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I was not able to be there from the beginning, maybe you were told, but even what also is my growth as a counselor is the fact that from the, I have found myself having something to be able to, the confidence to tell people what I know, and just encourage you one verse, which maybe this is what I intended to say in brief. I love a verse that really inspires me every other day. I wake up as a counselor, a preacher, or a speaker. Now, Isaiah 50, verse 4. So if you're there, that is Isaiah 50, verse 4. I love this scripture so much. It says this: "The Lord God has given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He wakeneth morning by morning. He wakeneth mine ear to hear as the learned." That's the verse in King James. That the Lord has given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He wakeneth morning by morning. He wakes my ear to hear as the learned. And I want to say this, basically what we are as counselors, wherever we are people who speak a word in season to them that are weary. But you see, he talks about, though the Lord has given us the tongue of the learned, but there's this other part where he wakes up every morning and he wakes his ear to hear like the learned. And I realize there's nothing as bad or even as, maybe dangerous as a counselor or a learned person who has nothing to give for that learning. What I'm saying is this: you are a counselor, but you can't give somebody a word in season to him that is weary. People come to us, and right now you realize, sometimes it's not because like now you may have more money than them. What we have above many people, even in Kenyans, is sometimes our attitude or our perspective to life. Okay? You may be having the same problems, but sometimes just giving people hope and telling them it's going to be well, and that is what you have over and above. And I want to say this, it's not because we have every other advantage. Sometimes we may even be the brokest, or we are very broke or broken than them. I'm talking about money. But when they look at you and wonder, why don't you have the same stress or anxiety? They want to know why. And sometimes I want to challenge each one of us. Let's be able to learn. Let's wake up and have the tongue of the learned. Those that wake up every morning to hear. Even as you hear, then you have another ear to hear what exactly could be the solution to this. So I want to say that I want to encourage us. I know there are those times when you feel like we don't have value for our money or our investment. People just invest a lot of money, come and do maybe one of these degrees, community or whatever, and after that they are promoted at their place of work, and you're wondering, how comes mine was not recognized, or am I the only one who has to meet the cost of my education? I want to say, I think, if you look at the advantage that you have sometimes when you have that tongue of the learned, sometimes you may find even that one who has money coming to your place and asking, how can I go through this thing? Then you realize you have more than what you think you have, okay? So our encouragement, and again also saying, let's be versatile even in our focus. I don't know. I thought counseling, and I'm not coming against those who do process counseling. One of the things that made me sometimes fear counseling, I'm just doing a little bit of my disclosure, self-disclosure. I get a little bit fatigued or tired of process counseling. I don't know how many are here. I know Agatha can do that, and others. I always, nikisikia case, huwa naambia, hebu nikutafutie counselor. Kuna ile iskizidi 3 au 4 sessions, I don't want to get bored. Neither do I want to bore you. I hope you also realize, as you keep learning, you realize we may have what we call the traditional counseling, the process counseling. But right now, in fact, I was saying the other day, I'm going to write something about when we are calling the brief focused counseling. Right now, you may realize where we are going. People don't have that time. At how many sessions they come, and if you are a good solution-based counselor, what you call brief focused counseling, the short-term counseling that doesn't go beyond 8, 6, you'll find you have clients. Because some of them don't want you to tell them, come tomorrow, come. They wonder, kwani kesi yangu ni kama ya admission. What I want to say is this, and I'm not saying we look for shortcuts, but we have realized that sometimes we are in a setting, what you call African setting, where people don't look like counseling should be that one every other day coming, okay? Unakuta mtu like in America or white, they can continue with the client even for a year. Okay? You realize if you want to take even the correct statistics, many of our clients don't even want to come more than 10, unless now they know there's that which you know must continue and continue. Are we together? So, by the way, it's good also to be versatile. Think about it. And when I realized that I don't have to be a process counselor, and I geared myself towards what you call short-term counseling, my clients, more I work with those, nasema, ni kama gari umeletewa, inataka ile tunasema aromaikia hii. Unajua ile unastua, morning engine trouble. Lakini ukiletewa haina carburetor, haina engine mpaka imenok. You know the process, and that's good. If you are a process counselor, please take up. If you are not, kindly don't try to go for process counseling when you can't. You can even be the one who will be able, after that, to become the client. You become a bit traumatized. But I'm saying it's good to know who you are as a counselor, because we have what we call the integrative counseling, which you yourself as a counselor pick out what you can run with and you know you are good at it, and that helps you. And that is my area. I'm more like a guidance counselor, or what you call brief focused counselor. And we are good at, those who are like that are good in psychoeducation. You find it easier doing proactive counseling, giving the talks, or education, psychoeducation, and then later people come because they heard you talk and they say, I have this problem. I need counseling. Nimesikia ukisema juu ya hii, naweza kuja kukuona. Do you see? That's now sometimes where you become also, what do you call it, proactive. So one of the things we can grow, because we are also educationists, is where we can also be specialists in our area, study more. If you can be able to use your forums, church, wherever, like you are being told, to even talk about some of those things that are very, are your own personal interest, then what happens is this. There seems to be an area you will always be called to give a talk on, and that can be also your life interest or even your area of counseling. I don't have all the time to say much on this, but I believe what we are saying at this time, cut an edge for yourself. Don't just be what you call a jack of all trades and a master of none. Because in this area, you can, even after you're doing you've done your degree, you've done your master's, pick an area of interest and find yourself there. You can even be an author. I didn't bring my books, but I found myself had a bias on career. And I've written right now 2 books on career counseling. Career one, effective career guidance in school. The other one is career decision making. Now that makes me, sometimes out of the class, I'm called somewhere, I'm giving a talk. So like next week I have 3 places, all the way up to Mogwai. Because they have seen my book, they have heard about me. Somebody will refer me, and they know, if you want a student to be guided about career, call Dr. Gachohi. That is an area I cut for myself when I was doing my master's and decided to be on that. So, and that's an area you can read also and write, even whether it's a pamphlet or something on it. Why people know that you are good at that. Are we together? So you realize katika hii dunia tuko wengi, ni kweli, counselors. If we just become any other counselor, people may never know. Nikitaka wa depression, nitaenda kwa nani? Nikitaka niko na mtu wako na addiction, whom can I who is the best, and that's how we get, because there are so many areas in life that I believe people need counseling. Even the issue of finances, you can even become a finance counselor. Otherwise, thank you so much. I don't want to assume you've not been told many things, so that's why I don't want to tell you all things, because kuna wengine pengine waliwaambia ile narudia. Thank you so much. God bless. Okay.